Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Newwave Podcast. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is, man. Back in action. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year's. We here, man. You see the setup. It's Newwave Podcast. I told you, I said, the situation will be different. I'm back here. I'm broadcasting live. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that's been supporting. Shout out to everybody that's been pulling through in the days when I wasn't around, when I wasn't really doing anything. I was working, but I wasn't working online. You know, you never see me, but I was trying to figure stuff out, get stuff together, build the content. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm here. Got a better setting, better situation. I'm not broadcasting live from the kitchen. You know what I mean? I'm used to working in the kitchen. I'm used to chefing it. The kitchen is home. But we here. Thank you, everybody. Shout out to everybody again. Hopefully everybody had a Merry Christmas. We're going to talk about Christmas in a second. Hoping everybody has a safe New Year's. They saying stay inside. Let's follow protocol. Let's do what we got to do. Let's do what we got to do to move forward, right? That's what we here. That's what we here to do. We only trying to survive. We not trying to do too much. We're not trying to live recklessly. What I'm saying is we trying to stay humble. We trying to do what we got to do in the process. You know, man, forget the I know it means a lot. But let's get our minds off this stimulus check. Let's try to stay focused, right? Let's try to stay in the game. Let's try to keep our heads in the game. You know, you knew that they were going to give you an amount of money that you wouldn't accept, right? Let's be clear. Let's be real with ourselves. Nobody woke up one day and said, "Oh man, they're going to pass the bill. Everybody's going to get 10 racks." No. Nobody said that. Nobody said that. What you need to be just worrying about surviving and passing and making the days go by healthier. Forget it, because they're gonna give you $300, you're gonna take it. If they give you $600, you're not gonna say, "Here, I don't want this, take it back." You know what I mean? But the reality of it is that they don't care about us. They don't give two shits about us. Like, it's a pandemic. They don't even give a fuck. People starving during a pandemic, right? It's some fucked up times. It's some trying times. But what you know, you able to look at this and learn from it. You got to learn from this experience. It's a rough experience. We got to learn from it. It's people working during the pandemic that don't want to work. And there's people not working during the pandemic that want to work. It's fucked up out here. We all in this together though, right? But don't expect to get, $2,000 is not even enough. Don't expect to get a bunch of bread from these politicians. These politicians are just lining their pockets. The money's going overseas. It's going everywhere else but here. And if we get it, it's corporations get it. See, the way they define, it's like the regular citizens don't matter. These businesses matter. So they taking care of these businesses before they take care of us. So what I'm saying before we move forward, and I'd rather not talk about this bullshit anymore. What I'm saying before we move forward is we need to worry about us, right? We need to worry about us. We need to focus on the family. You know what's right and what's wrong. You know what you need to do in this world in order to survive. It's a dog-eat-dog world, right? So let's not act like they care about us. When they give you $600, I did the math today, and $600 adds up to $1.60 a day. It's almost like we are like the Feed the Children Foundation. Feed for $5.99. You can feed this family of 5. That's what it is. See, when you do the breakdown, you like, oh, they really don't give a fuck about us. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? This is what it is. When you break it down, break the numbers down, and think about it. They give you $1 a day. All Americans just got $1 a day. Get your money, man, because they ain't gonna give it to you. They stingy on some Scrooge McDuck shit. But it's sad. But like I said, man, yesterday was NFL Sunday, man. The Eagles played the Dallas Cowboys. The Giants played the Baltimore Ravens. Both those teams got smashed. The Giants, they needed that game. It would have been a little more easier for them going into next week when they play the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know. I think they're in Dallas. I'm not sure. But when they play in the Dallas Cowboys, it would have been an easier game for them because Dallas just beat the Eagles, and Dallas is trying to clinch. They're trying to win the division. The Giants are trying to get in the playoffs. So next week is a must-win game for both teams. The Eagles were officially eliminated yesterday when they lost to Dallas, and that was a game that they needed to win. If they wanted to give these fans any type of hope, they should have won that game yesterday. At least it would have made the season interesting, because the NFC East is the worst division in football. They said it's been the worst since in NFL history. This has been bad. It's been terrible. This has been a terrible season for the NFC East. I'm talking about the Washington football team, because they're no longer called the Redskins. The Washington football team, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys, and the New York Giants had a terrible season. Very bad season. And we can sit here and blame it on the pandemic, but these guys were bad last year. Fans weren't going to make this any better. The only thing the fans were going to do this year for these teams was give the cleanup crew a hard time with all the trash in the parking lot and shit. To be honest with you, I'm glad there wasn't no fans. Because if I would have went to one of these games and seen the Giants lose the way they've been losing, I'd have had a damn fit. I don't know. I don't even know if Saquon Barkley can help this team next year. You know, everybody always talk about, oh, we got to wait till next year. We don't have next year. We have now. We don't want to worry about next year. When you're a Giants fan, there's no next year. It's this year. It's win or bust. That's the way we feel. That's the way real Giants fans feel. Every year is our year. It's not up for debate whether we're gonna win next year. We don't want to win next year. We want to win now. They need to figure this out. They need to figure it out. Shout out to the NFL. Shout out to Lamar Jackson. I'm really leaning towards the Kansas City Chiefs and probably the Seattle Seahawks this year. I would love to see Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson go at it. DK Metcalf and Tyreek Hill. I really want to see this defense of the Seattle Seahawks go at it against the Kansas City Chiefs. This is going to be good. This is going to be epic. It's going to be too good for TV. This is going to be too good for TV. This might mean pay-per-view. This might mean pay-per-view. Shout out to LeBron. The Lakers just got their rings. They received their championship rings. They're huge. Some big rings. Very detailed. I love it. The Lakers got their rings. And when the Lakers received these championship rings, I felt a little like, oh, okay. We got it. It was a long, dreadful few years when, and I'm talking about after Kobe Bryant retired. We've been bad, and we was bad the last 2 years with Kobe. So it's been long, and Laker fans, they're spoiled. We're spoiled. Every year we gotta be up there. So when I seen the rings, they always say that this championship doesn't count because it was in a bubble. I think it counts. Even though they had like the playoff situation, I really think this counts. I think it should be acknowledged as a championship, not as the Walt Disney championship. I think the Lakers did a good job this year. Anthony Davis. Because if they would have lost, then people would have been like, the Lakers lost. They got their ass whooped. They couldn't do it. They choked. Like the Clippers. The Clippers choked. Not too many people are talking about them anymore because they lost and that's it. It's a wrap. Nobody really cares about the Los Angeles Clippers anyway. It's all about those Lakers, and everybody knows that. It's never been about the Clippers in LA. It's always been about Lakers. Never been about the Clippers. The Clippers are just a team in LA. The Lakers are Los Angeles. They really make that city. They make California. You talk California, you talk Los Angeles, you talk Lakers. And nothing else. Maybe the Dodgers. They just won a World Series. Maybe the Dodgers. LA Kings, probably. I don't know. I'm a Laker fan, so I'm just letting you know it's all about the Lakers. Shout out to hip hop. I want to take while I'm doing this podcast, I want to take a few minutes to shout out all the other podcasters that are out there. I can't name all of them because it's a bunch of people that do podcasts. I want to shout out everybody that's getting that good content out their way, and it's not a machine behind them pushing them and making them like holding up the like their puppets and making them dance and stuff like that. Shout out to all the other podcasters. Shout out to everybody that's trying to open the door and clear the lane out for new artists and new entertainers and everything else and new content. And shout out to everybody that's out there doing what they got to do. Big shout out to everybody. Once again, my sponsor is 2127 CBD. And get them a shout out. We're always going to plug the sponsors. We're going to give them as much props as they want. CBD is very good. It's a good product. It's starting to make a wave right now. This Newwave Podcast. CBD is starting to make a wave. It's good for inflammation, swelling. It's good for anxiety. They even got rubs. You can rub it on your arm or your elbow, any part of your body that's bothering you. You can smoke it. It's weed without the THC. It doesn't get you the head high. It doesn't get you real and paranoid and stuff. Your heart start beating all fast. It's not that. It's more of a mellow out, chill vibe. So when you smoke CBD, when you use CBD, that's what you get. It is what it is. It's not here to get you all wild, If you can still be wild with CBD, but that's all on you. But the CBD is going to take good care of your body. It's good for you. So everybody should check it out. 2127. I'll post the website on the actual podcast. When it's on the YouTube page, it'll be scrolling right past the bottom of the screen. 2127 CBD. Check them out. And what I wanted to talk about hip hop, these verses, as today's the last Monday of the year. No more verses. The last verses was E40 and Too Short. I didn't watch that, so I can't really speak on that. But I don't know. I don't know if that was pretty good. I think that was kind of for the culture of Oakland. More for them than for the world. Because a lot of people don't listen to E40. And I don't care, you can say he's legendary and he's doing this and he has his liquor and he's big time and he's doing all these moves. But listen, nobody listens to E40. Nobody really listens to Too Short. People on the East Coast wasn't vibing to Too Short like that. I mean, he's legendary, let me, you know what I mean? But those are not the verses that we want to hear. That's not what we want. That's not what we want. I mean, it would be cool if the verses could give us the verses that we want to hear. Like, y'all know what we want. We want Dipset versus G-Unit. We want G-Unit versus the Lox. We want Dipset versus the Lox. We want stuff like that. We want Lil Wayne versus Jay-Z. We want Jay-Z versus whoever. We didn't want Snoop Dogg versus DMX. That was a corny matchup right there. That was terrible. That was terrible. You know, and the people that put that together was like, come on, dog. Like, do we really want to hear Ashanti and Keisha Cole? I mean, see, people getting caught up in the names. They say, oh, Ashanti, I want Ashanti versus Keisha Cole, blah, 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 blah. But Keisha Cole and Ashanti is like oil and water. That shit is not going to mix. Can we get some Mary J. Blige versus Mariah Carey? Can we? Can we do something like that? Can we focus on that right there? Because I think that's what we need. Can we get some Drake versus like Kendrick Lamar or Drake versus Lil Wayne? Whoever, like, dog, but just make it happen. Make it happen, make it relevant. Like Jadakiss and Fab was okay. It was cool, but like, yeah, I understand why they would do that. Because the streets always had them in their mouth. They was always speaking Fab and Jadakiss. Even when they spoke it up so much, they made an album together. That was fire. That's what hip hop needs. Stuff like that. Styles P versus Beanie Siegel. That's what I'm talking about. See, when I hear stuff like that, that's when I'm like, oh man, now I'm interested. Now I'm starting to get interested. Now this is what I'm talking about. But you dudes is putting together the most corniest verses in the world. And I'm really at the point where I don't even know if those verses are like legit from the people. Like Jeezy and Gucci Mane was okay. I really like that. But I would have loved to hear Jeezy versus T.I., but T.I. ain't got a lot of smoke. So I was like, damn, why can't we get Jeezy versus Lil Wayne? That would have been fire, dog. That would have been fire. Shout out to everybody that's out there tuning in to hip hop. Newwave Podcast, man. We here, man. We gonna be here tomorrow too. We're not gonna go nowhere. It's the new. We gonna do these shows leading up to New Year's Eve, and then New Year's we gonna pop off. We gonna throw some, you know what I mean? Pop some bottles. We gonna have some drinks. We gonna talk about the year, the wrap up, the New Year's wrap up. Newwave Radio, Newwave Podcast edition. So shout out to everybody that's been tuning in, man. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the love that we've been getting on and off. When I'm on, I get a lot. I didn't even send no invites out to nobody. I just did this off the fly. That's for Instagram. I didn't send any invites out. I just hit play and just started recording. Because it really doesn't matter who shows up. You know what I mean? They're going to get the content. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. It's Newwave Podcast, Newwave Radio. Tomorrow we talking hip hop, some more hip hop, some more sports. We're gonna get in a little depth to it. I just wanted to let y'all know that I'm here. Newwave Podcast. I'm out, man. Y'all be safe.